You hear that, all you people who play this at 1.5 times speed? You can't rush dialogue.
I got things to do. I can't be sitting here listening.
Yeah. Sorry, you were saying.
I got things to do.
Okay. I was getting lost in the thing anyways. More
Lost.
so
You said Lost. Talk about Lost.
I did. And that, is a character-driven show.
Yeah.
Right? Because it has no plot. Just kidding.
It's got a problematic plot.
Sure. You'd be more loud with that, Jesus.
Why? We're not filming yet.
Yeah. No, we're always filming. I got cameras all. This is Big Brother. I got cameras all over the place.
I deliberately brought it over to the mic.
Did you? Nice.
It's his ASMR.
Oh, yeah. Now we open up
the episode of Bards and Balladeers podcast.
the Bards and Balladeers.
Welcome to Bards and Balladeers podcast.
You're so
Bobby. You should be watching.
Oh my God, I love your salty, sweaty balls. Wait.
Yeah.
These sweaty balls. I like chewing them.
Put them in your mouth. They're really salty. Yeah.
Wow, your balls are bigger than I thought they'd be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
There's a real texture.
We're going to get sued for copyright.
Oh, shit.
No, because we're doing a parody. Well, I guess kind of a parody. I don't know.
Parakeet.
Parakeet.
That's exactly what they sound like.
Exactly.
On point with your accents, as always.
Thank you. This is what I'm here for. To be
the entertaining one.
Like culturally appropriate and not.
To culturally appropriate parakeets?
No, sure. Yeah.
Oh.
Did you know appropriate is spelled just like appropriate?
Is it really?
Yeah.
Is it two different words?
Culturally appropriate. It's culturally appropriate.
I learned something today.
I mean,
It's true.
Really? This whole time that people have been complaining, it's really just culturally appropriate.
Yeah. They just don't see it. They don't understand.
Yeah. It's all just mispronunciation.
Yeah, well, that's half of life is misunderstandings, isn't it?
All conflict.
What's
right?
the other half is, I don't know. Misunderstood.
Wait, but both having to do with communication, right?
Yeah.
Which is dialogue, or could be forms of dialogue, which is our episode today.
Yeah, it's like what's happening right now, a dialogue.
It is a dance of tongues.
If there's three of us, is it a trialogue?
Triathlog.
Oh, then isn't it just a conversation then?
It wasn't a dialogue a conversation?
A trialogue.
Trialogue.
Yeah.
No, we had to rename this episode, the title of this episode, just Conversation.
We'll get one more person to be a quadrilogue.
Quadrilogue.
Okay, that sounds cool.
Quadrilogue.
All our interviews are now quadrilogues.
Trogologues. Welcome to our newest quadrilogue, where we interview a piece of ham that's been sitting on the counter for too long.
Ew.
It's fuzzy. Yes, we are doing dialogue here at Bards and Balladeers. And welcome to the show. We are Kate.
I am Kate.
We are all our Kate.
We are Kate.
We are Kate. You're likely
all your Kate are belong to us.
Your likeness shall be assimilated into Kate. Yeah, sorry.
I'm three of 5.
Who are the other two?
They're out there.
Our next guests.
Yeah,
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Be outnumbered by Kates.
Kates. Too many cakes. Too many Kates. Too many Kates.
Too many Kates.
Yeah. Don't. Wow. So
Nobody tell him.
Nobody tell him. I showed somebody that video that I probably shouldn't have. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there were
because they had
children
kids
in the room.
in the room, and yeah,
Rio learned something that day.
I did something because I don't have kids. It's none that
not anymore. Like, you're just like that's what happened to him, right?
Yeah.
Too many cooks. We offed a few of them.
Yeah.
I've killed millions of kids.
We're gonna edit that out. We got a little Anakin Skywalker over here.
They were so easy. It's just like you just gotta whip the sword around and you're just like dun 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 dun. It's like a mowing a lawn at that point.
I think there was a split like meme between like Anakin killing younglings and then like Big Lebowski at the bowling alley. The guy's just like 8-year-olds, dude.
I've never seen it. Damn it.
That's great. But yeah, so if you're listening to us here in YouTube land, like and subscribe because we always could use that. Helps more people find us.
We might be in Spotify land.
You don't know. Spotify Landia.
And or iHeartRadio and iTunes Land. And
that's it.
Amazon Music.
Yeah. Amazon Music.
And of course, YouTube.
When you said and or, I heard and or.
Yeah, and or.
So
I
I'm
wish we were
like,
in
Cassie,
Andor.
I guess that's how they named that,
I
huh?
wish.
Yeah. It could be Tatooine or it could be
Dagobah?
Dagobah and
Yeah.
or.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's how they named it. Yep. That's
All right.
canon. But yeah, so today we are talking about dialogue, conversations like Kate has
We're
informed
having
you.
a dialogue about dialogue.
We're having, that's all our just podcasts are, just dialogue.
Mhm.
No.
And it is an
Sensitive.
episode that has been requested by you guys.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, at least one of y'all.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're
Our
looking
loyal
up to
fans,
you.
we appreciate you. So yeah, we're just going to dive into that topic and how dialogue is vitally important for, one, just language communication, how we get things communicated back and forth. It's one of the most important things that we have as human beings, I think, language and conversation and how we express ideas.
Yeah.
For sure.
Verbally.
Verbally.
Mhm.
Yep. But mostly as being as writers, since we're all writers, it's what we do. Unless you're writing a book just solely about something that happens and there's no dialogue, which would be kind of interesting, I would assume. We have conversations and it's what builds our characters and how we establish worlds and how we establish characters and their motivations and their likes and wants and all that stuff. So yeah, we let's talk about some of it in our books or in our games that we play or the movies that we watch. What are the things that you guys like and find effective about dialogue?
How one communicates with. No, I'm just.
Definition, please.
I think like the rhythm and pacing are an undervalued part of dialogue. I mean, anyone who does screenplays and just like they all know rhythm and pacing matter, especially any kind of comedy. Like
Yes.
timing is such a huge part of comedy. So rhythm and pacing is like you have to get that down for comedic scripting.
Yeah. I'd say that's the most important thing about comedy is timing, honestly.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I mean, setup is part of that. I mean, you can do this in books too. It doesn't have to be screenwriting, but just the verbal back and forth that's like the setup for it. It's kind of like it's like a volleyball match. Like there's always
thinking
the
that.
setup for the
Mhm.
shot, and it can be a setup that's way earlier in the dialogue, or it can be like immediately preceding like whatever that beat is, that punchline.
Sure.
But like callbacks, I guess, are a big part of comic dialogue.
We talked about, and I think you said you saw these people before, but our Renaissance Festival here in Minnesota had a vilification tennis
Mhm.
where it was just like, it was insult comedy because it was just a back and forth. I make fun of you, you make fun of me. And you see, they had a judge too be like, okay, point award to you because you did the bigger burn or whatever, which is always funny. But even that in comedy for that reason, like, was it roast battles or a
like,
big thing too?
Yeah, like even like a Comedy Central, like roasts and things like that. A roast of William Shatner or a roast of Mike
Mhm.
Tyson or whatever.
Right. For my 50th, I want to do a roast for me. Like, I just want to like do it.
Mhm.
Be mean to me. Like,
I almost did it for his 40th, but I was like, no.
yeah.
Don't be a-
I'm too young. I can't take it.
So if you do it, is it a honey roast?
Honey roast. Oh my
Aw,
gosh.
yes.
I will destroy
Honey
him.
roast me.
No.
And I'll
don't
love every
glaze-
minute of it.
Just don't glaze them.
Well, duh. But yeah, and rap battles too, kind of
Yeah.
same thing. Yeah.
I think like wherever those Yo Mama jokes started.
I think that's a
Like-
game called The Dozens.
Oh.
I don't know why it's called The Dozens, but I became aware of that at some point. So I
Yeah.
did not fact check that, but I believe that's what it's called. Fact check me. Yeah,
Yeah.
put it in the comments.
Where did it start?
I feel like when it started was probably the 70s or 80s.
Sure.
I heard there's
Probably.
a musical artist called MC Hawking, and he actually got Stephen Hawking's like voice machine. So it's like he's pretending basically to be a rapper and he's
Sure.
using Stephen Hawking's voice.
Oh.
So he's like MC Hawking, and he has all these
Yeah.
songs like E equals MC Hawking. And
Fantastic.
but there's one of those also that's called The Dozens, and someone said that's why. But like, and it's just a bunch of jokes like your mama is so fat, like that kind of joke. And one was like, your mama is so damn poor that she got married because she needed rice. But it's all in that.
Oh my God.
It's all in that Stephen Hawking voice,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
great. And I think he donated like 10% of the profits to a charity of Stephen Hawking's choice or
Oh,
something like
wow.
that.
That's amazing.
That's cool.
like, yeah, I need to get another copy of that album. So all my shootings be drive-bys. That was another one.
Oh, there's a Jackbox game. Yeah, like it's a rap battle, but they're all robots doing it, so it's all said like in robot voices. So I feel like that was inspired by that.
Yeah,
could have been.
Yeah,
because they do a thing where like, so if you ever played, have you played Jackbox before?
I don't even know what it is.
Okay, so it's this. It's a bunch of like. Did you ever play You Don't Know Jack, where it was like just a trivia game?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Same company made these games where it's just like a bunch of like mini games you play, and one of them, you would have the main system playing like the display where everybody sees, and then you actually play on your phone and you connect to the server and it connects the game to your phones, and you actually will get prompts and stuff or like whatever to play those games. And then the rap battle one specifically is like pick a noun and then pick something else, and then that information gets sent to another person, and you get a different prompt, and you got to make a rhyme with like whatever someone else made, and then it plays it, and you go up against somebody else who also fills it in. So it's all like it's improv,
yeah, and it's the hardest game too.
Yeah, but when it's funny, it's just great. Yeah. Like, yeah.
But there's no way to rhyme with orange. Sorry.
Dorkinge.
Little callback, comic callback right there.
I also think like as those, we talk about battle, but battle also in like debate too, like even just like in that grander arena, whenever like there's a whole section of like kids that are doing debate team and stuff like that, just to trying to figure out who can make the best, like, it's not even like being correct. It's like, who can make the best argument.
Right.
Yeah. And even like lawyers do that all the time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And and also politicians.
No, they never lie.
They debate.
They debate. Yes.
But all hinging on some level of conflict too, right?
Yeah. It's weird.
Is two different perspectives coming to a head. I just went to a training at work actually where we talked about conflicts, and one of the lawyer people at our work was kind of like the lead like rep like in this training, and he was saying how like lawyers legitimately go into their industry to argue, right, and to have conflict and
bend the truth more, like
he didn't really touch on that, but I mean I'm not disagreeing, but yeah, it's interesting to see how often dialogue, like we were saying earlier, like miscommunication or over communication, under communication feeds into conflict for our stories and like promotes more drama in some way, shape, or form, kind of like our lies episode, talking about how lies sort of can be a catalyst for a plot or a story in some way, shape, or form. So I think dialogue, like really, I can't even, like you were saying, I can't think of an example where there's no dialogue in a story.
Sure, because then it would be purely informational,
right?
So like Castaway.
But there's dialogue in that.
With the volleyball.
Yeah. But there's still dialogue. I mean, it's one-sided.
Right.
I mean, well, maybe
it's like projected dialogue. Like inner dialogue. Or,
It would be a history book. That would be of like, I think of something with no dialogue in a way.
Well, it's interesting because to your kind of idea too, is like, even though Castaway is just one direction and he's talking to him, he just needs someone to talk to keep himself from going insane. We almost had that same thing with like letters. Back and forth, even like back in a time where like you would have to send letters to somebody and that's the only way you can communicate. Like you would have to wait for that response and everything. It could be months before you hear from people. And I really think that dialogue is just that extension of vocalization of connection between two people. Like and you need that because again, when you're telling stories and when you're doing any of this kind of stuff, you are trying to make connections between your characters, whether or not it's good or bad. Like, you're just trying to connect these two people, and good dialogue will connect them in a way where like you can't separate them then, but they become intertwined. And that's what I think why dialogue is so important in stories, at least that we in modern, times, even diaries, any of those things, that we need it so fervently, because without it, it just becomes, I guess, like a history book, like you said.
And as humans too, we long to be heard or understood in some way, shape, or form. So we have this like internal innate need to communicate and to have dialogue with one another.
It's sort of like a quest for meaning, and stories have that too, where you want a story to have some kind of meaning, even if it's not super deep. But dialogue is how you unlock it. Yeah, because each character may be internalizing meanings on their own, but the way it most readily intersects with other characters is through dialogue.
Yeah.
And that's how you build an overall story dialogue or an overall story meaning. And you just don't, it's a method of transmission of meaning. Mm-hmm. So if I have a thought in my head and I want to transmit that to you or to a feeling through analogy or something like that, it's a form of transmission. So you're transmitting meaning, data, sure, but also you're trying to infuse that with meaning.
Right.
And so when you transmit meaning and then that is internalized by someone and they transmit meaning back, then you can co-create meaning, which that's what you're doing with a story.
Yeah.
I sort of think of people want to talk about, if they're talking about spiritual stuff but they're kind of like shy about that sort of thing. I try to talk about like books and meaning. Like at what point in a book is the meaning absent, or at what point is it present? It's there throughout the whole book, but you only unlock it by reading the book. Mm. Once you've read it, it's been transmitted into your brain. Then you can burn the book, but you haven't gotten rid of the meaning because it's been transmitted.
True.
Well, that brings up an interesting point too, that like how text is interpreted, or even again dialogue, because since we're specifically talking about dialogue, it's like that, like when someone says something, how is that being interpreted and how do you respond to that for them to interpret what you're trying to get across? And I find it interesting with the difference between, like, again, mediums of either books or movies, and specifically like books and screenplays, because when you make a book, you kind of take that whole encompassing like world and everything, and you add those characters in and have dialogue, but then you fill it in with some other descriptive things. But with screenwriting, when you're doing that, because it is a type of writing too, is like it's little description and then dialogue. Like, and dialogue takes up like a large chunk of like what you're. And I found this out with the script I had to do for a project I'm doing currently, that you focus on that because that's going to be one of the main things, not just the visuals, but the dialogue that goes between the people, you know, with a book, and the visuals take the place of the extra stuff that you write in books, like the description and the things that happen.
Yeah. You don't have to actually spell it all out when you can just show visuals.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's against the show don't tell though. But yeah.
You should have a show that's called Don't Tell.
A show called Don't Tell.
Oh.
What would this show be about?
Probably abuse. Sorry.
I was going to say like an antique roadshow, but okay.
I
went dark immediately.
Yeah. Which is arguably funny.
I could see murder mystery. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or it's like it's a show all about people who witness murders, but they can't say anything because they're worried that they're going to get found out or their family's going to get like
a mob era.
Yeah. Yep. Little Sopranos kind of thing going on.
Tell.
Yeah.
Little Tony saw.
I know you
too
saw
much
this.
That
I don't want to be. I don't want to be killing another person.
I don't want to be a murderer today. You know.
He deserved it. That's not called murder.
Are we allowed to say murder?
Say murder.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's in US. It's fine.
Yeah.
Murder is fine.
Backwards
you just can't talk about
sex
Red
rum.
Red rum.
I've actually.
Doc, evil, feeful.
No idea.
That was from a commercial, like a movie theaters, like back in like the early 2000s, I think. I can't remember. Yeah. Oh, movie phone. No, movie. Don't you remember movie phone?
I do.
Yeah. We both had the same response.
Yeah. I don't have hidden bodies.
Yes.
Welcome to Movie Phone, brought to you by 101.3 KDWB and American Express. That was literally like, God, because I remember calling that all the time. Like, I need to find out when a movie was going to start.
Oh, funny.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we did it.
That.
Showtimes for Titanic are.
Did you have to do that voice for your theater?
No. It was an automated system. It's just that the guy is like really overpowered. Like,
engaging.
Yeah.
Come watch our movies.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Seats are $25, but you only need the edge.
Oh, Monster Truck Rally Sunday. Yeah. That's a one-way dialogue. Because
that's called a monologue. External monologue.
Yeah.
But one thing that I also think that with dialogue too, I actually don't remember where we left off, so forgive me.
That's okay.
But
read this.
The fact that you don't know dialogue is bad until you realize that it's not progressing the plot. And at least for me,
like our podcast right now. No, sorry,
it's not progressing the plot. Because I will often find myself like frustrated. Like, why are we having this conversation? Not we, like the characters. Like, why am I watching this conversation?
My wife.
Like, it's not progressing the story. Like, what is the purpose of this?
Or even character development. It's like the equivalent of, where do you want to eat? I don't know. Where do you want to eat? Like, oh God, just kill me now.
Right.
Like,
unless they're making fun of it.
Yeah.
Like the vultures in Jungle Book. What's the Jungle Book? It's like, what you want to do today? Oh, I don't know. What you want to do is like, oh, don't start that again. You know, it's just, it's
comedy.
Yeah, comedy.
Mm-hmm.
You realize you want dialogue to feel natural and relaxed, but it also needs to accomplish something because you're assuming that there's plenty of dialogue going on that's not on the page, that is functioning in a way that doesn't advance the story at all. You don't have to write that. So why are you putting pen and ink to this dialogue? There needs to be a reason.
Yes. And I think that's sort of an art too that does take a while for an author to master in a way, and trial and error. You know, I think that's one reason why like peer review, writing groups, whatever, are really important so that you can learn, like, is this sticky dialogue? Is this clunky? Like, does this actually serve a purpose? Or is this just me writing what I think should be said in this moment when it could be, you know, assumed that it's said elsewhere.
Right. Or you just like, I feel like there needs to be a moment here, but I don't know what they would say to each other. So they're just filling it with their whatever. Like, that's okay. Then you don't know what the scene is. You don't know why. Then the question is not why are they having this dialogue, but like, what is the scene supposed to be about?
Yeah.
If you don't know that, then the dialogue tends to become aimless.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting thing too, because when I was listening to you guys talk, like, when people do dialogue and like, you can tell when something doesn't sound natural, but sometimes we do these unnatural, like, cadences, or like, especially in acting, or just like things that they wouldn't do just to sound verbose. Like, you know, was mentioned like the bad guy doing the monologue, like who really does that, right? You know,
or
that
anything by Aaron Sorkin.
Sure. But it's one of those things like that's a choice in dialogue too, where it's just like, you're trying to create a character per se. Like, you know, you're trying to create like the cowboy with the drawl and everything. And like, yeah, I'm sure there were cowboys like that, stereotypes almost.
Yeah. You're creating a voice.
Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things like people argue about like, why is there stereotypes and everything? It's like, well, it started somewhere. It's just, how can those stereotypes be like harmful, or are you just being lazy and not actually developing a character for A, B, or C, you know?
You know, it's funny. I was watching an episode of Would I Lie to You? And there's this blind guy on there named Chris McCausland, and he's talking about how like his neighbor, like, so like another person who lives in like a different floor of the house.
Sure.
It's like different flat, is deaf. So he's blind and his neighbor is deaf. And they both thought the other was being the rudest person ever to each other. Because, you know, he'd say hello, not realizing he was speaking to the guy's back. The guy, like, deaf guy, didn't hear him. And later on, the deaf guy waves at him. Of course, he's blind. He doesn't know.
Right.
And this went on for a couple of months until they figured it out. And he said as like kind of an end part of the story, and, you know, it turns out the guy's Australian, which you know, like you associate with the Australian with the accent, right? But he's deaf, so he's just Australian in his head. I was like, that's a great point.
Yeah.
It's like the show Would I Lie to You? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like I wouldn't really have thought of that, I guess. But yeah, like, yeah, you think Australian, you hear the accent.
Yeah.
Dude's deaf. He's not speaking. He's just Australian in other ways.
Right. Not afraid of spiders.
Yeah.
What is that like, that joke, whatever? It's like, my inner voice is like a posh, like British person.
Benedict
Cumberbatch or whatever. It's just like, my inner voice doesn't match. And it's just like that joke where they show people thinking about something. It's like, today I'm going to go on a walk. And the guy's outside is like, hey, I'm going to go on a walk. Like, you know, it's just like,
today I'm going to go for a walk.
Yeah.
What for, bro? What for, governor? Like, whatever.
Chip, chip, cheerio. That's a stereotype, you know, of a voice or whatever.
Yeah. But I do that out loud sometimes. It's It amuses me. Sometimes I'll do it around somebody and amuses them. No, just different accents randomly for different kinds of thoughts. Like, what will this cat do if I strangle her to death?
We do have.
She would be upset.
We do have voices for both of our cats.
That is true.
Yeah. I have voices for someone else's cats. So one of them's Indian.
Oh,
and one of them is just kind of like Niles from Frasier.
That's great.
That's the best. Oh, I miss Niles.
Don't lock me in the room.
There are times where like we'll be like just thinking of other shows to watch, and I miss Niles from Frasier so much.
We went through that so quickly.
We did. It actually, I feel like we went through it as long as we needed to, but it was over too soon.
I mean, that is such a dialogue-driven show.
It really is.
Yeah, I mean, the writing for that, like, I mean, there's lots of American sitcoms, but that one stands out because of the writing.
Yep.
And it's mostly the dialogue.
Yeah.
They're all setting each other up. Like wit is a huge part of dialogue.
Yeah.
And there's so much of it in that show.
Yes. And I think the entire like show is played like a play, like a stage play. And because the settings are never like extraordinary settings, right? Mm-hmm. It's just usually his apartment or whatever.
Yeah, there's most of these shows from that area, like from that era, like just to keep costs down. Mm-hmm. It's like a small cast and then like 2 or 3 sets.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it's like his apartment, his radio studio, and like maybe
apartment.
Depending.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, like or like the cafe.
Actually. The cafe is a big one. Yeah.
And so like you're right that the dialogue would be the biggest thing, especially with having so many great actors in that show too, that they just all bounced off each other so well and had such chemistry between one another that I think is just big so thing, rare. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they I don't know if you know how they cast that, but like they cast obviously, Kelsey Grammer. Mm-hmm. And then he does a suggestion. Oh, what about this person? I worked well with them. And then that person would come on and they'd suggest this other person. And so there was like a lot of referral.
Interesting.
And so like, that's kind of how a lot of them got cast.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I mean, it's one way that shows keep costs down is we're going to have a few sets and we're going to have really good dialogue.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the show.
Yeah.
Because, then you're paying one or two writers, you're paying a handful of actors, and then it's all like crew and stage work.
Although Frasier or Kelsey Grammer is being paid like $2 million an episode, which at the time was like the most anybody was ever paid for a sitcom.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, you can afford to do that because you've lowered the costs.
Yeah.
$1 million, and that was for that song at the end of the credits.
Salad and scrambled eggs.
Which I'm like, what does this have to do with Frasier?
I know. Yeah. It's psychosomatic. You wouldn't understand it.
And I think that actually what you were saying, Oscar, that like about the pillars of like our storytelling, like character does sort of drive dialogue, but it also needs to drive plot and
meaning. Yeah. Like meaning. Is that what you were getting at? Like building, co-creating this meaning for the story through dialogue. Cause each is bringing a different piece at the right time. Mm-hmm. So it's all like pacing and timing, but
pacing. That's what it is. Yeah. Sorry. Like that you can't rush dialogue, and it's almost like you can't dive into too heavy of topics too soon before two characters know one another because like one just won't be willing to open up. One won't for like a number of reasons that are driven by the character. But
you hear that, all you people who play this at 1.5 times speed? You can't rush dialogue.
I got things to do. I can't be saying listening.
Sorry, you were saying.
I got things to do.
Okay. I was getting lost in the thing, anyways.
Lost.
So
you said Lost. Talk about Lost.
I did, and that is a character-driven show.
Yeah,
right, because it has no plot. Just kidding.
It's got a problematic plot.
Sure,
very open-ended, but no, like the dialogue, I think primarily is a character-driven thing, right? Because characters are saying these things. Mm-hmm. But if it doesn't tie into plot, at least like a little bit, like we were saying earlier, then it's aimless. Then it's not believable. Then it's, not actually driving us towards that meaning, right, of the overall story.
Right. It's sort of like dialogue is it's like a statement of intent. And then actions are the follow through. So they might deviate from the statement depending on lies. We had a whole episode on that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like the way that you like statements of intent or statements of character tie in with actions of like the execution of that intent or the execution of who that character is. And that follows into a larger plot. It intersects with the world, the setting.
You're right.
So a lot of it is like, it starts with dialogue, ends with dialogue, is punctuated by dialogue, because it's always this sort of revisiting, not just statement of intent, but also it's feedback from the characters of how they're internalizing things, how they're intersecting with the setting, how they're intersecting with the plot. It's their characters are kind of the pieces that move those things along. Like you can't move the plot along without the characters. And like the setting comes into that too. Like things happen in the setting that can nudge the plot along. But if there's no characters reacting to that, right, then it's just, hey, look, it's the weather.
Then it's events again, like to your point, it's just historical. It's like this happened, this happened, this happened. But it's almost like we can talk about like events and life, but until we get that, like how people reacted to it or how it affected people or how we like do interviews of like let's say World War II vets and everything and their perspective on it. Like it just isn't an instance in time, but now we know what these people had done and felt during this event, Yeah.
You're unlocking the meaning. Like they're telling you, here's the meaning this unlocked for me.
Right.
And like you set it up like, if you look at like a World War II documentary, you've got the setup of like, okay, people understanding what's going on. Oh, we were attacked, whatever, we're going to war, and how they grapple with that. Mm-hmm. And then the whole process of training and how they grapple with that. And then the actual war and how they grapple with that. And at each stage, they're communicating where they came at it from, how it's sitting with them now, and how they intend to go forward with it. And all of those have meaning, but they also have a chronology to them, like a character development. And so and then the more characters you get talking about that with each other, they're kind of unlocking meaning for each other and transmitting that meaning and co-creating meaning. And they're all reacting to things as a group and individually. They're all having intentions as a group and individually.
Right.
Like a lot of people in that era, they unalived themselves because they couldn't go, because they couldn't fight.
Sure.
That's very different from how it is now.
Right.
But that was the community that they arrived at through a kind of dialogue and shared a shared identity, a shared meaning, a shared set of values. And that's just how the world was at that point in that area.
Speaking of that too, like how people would interview and speak their stories about things like that. I also think therapy is a big, important things for people to like, how important it is that if you don't talk about a situation or don't talk to somebody about something, like that stuff eats you up, like, and having a therapist or somebody trained to actually speak upon these matters, at least give you perspective or like tools to handle these situations, like you'll deteriorate. And it's almost like because we hold these things inside, it's like a poison almost. Like, how many times have you felt better just like expressing something, even if you didn't get an answer, just talking about something,
Yeah, or journaling about it. It's another way of putting it out in the world, although it's more effective, like you were saying, like even if it's not received, well, it is more effective if it is received.
Right.
And I've said this for, I don't know, probably 20 years now, that one of the ways this functions is that, there's that thing of like, if I don't have the energy or I just don't feel like I've got it in me, then I'm going to shut off. I'm going to stop giving. Sure. I'll stop putting out there. But it doesn't actually make people feel better. Like I have no more energy to give to this. Well, then when there's a crisis, you somehow find the energy and you do it, right, and you actually feel better. And right, what I say goes behind this is that people are kind of made to be conduits, not vessels. So
you got the pass through, not the holder, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like, if you imagine a garden hose, that's meant to be a conduit for water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not meant to be a vessel that holds water.
It's not a bladder. Yeah.
And so if you like, hoses are meant to put water out.
Yeah.
And if people are kind of like that with, energy and meaning, whatever, however you want to look at it. But it helps if there's somewhere to put it where like that it can receive it. And if you're like, okay, I'm putting this out in this direction that's not receiving it, well, I'm going to shut off. I'm going to shut off my hose, right, because I feel like I don't have enough. Like you suddenly become aware, I don't feel like I have enough energy in me. I don't have enough water.
Sure.
And so you shut off to conserve it, But a hose is not meant to be a vessel. It's like you're not ever going to hold that much water because you're not meant to hold it. You're meant to convey it. So when you shut it off, that still stays inside, but it stagnates now, which is what you were saying. If you don't get it out there, it festers.
Right. It's kind of like the idea of like if you have a rubber hose or even just like normal hose and everything and you shut it off, but you still have stuff coming through.
Yeah.
Like that hose will burst. Hi. Hello, kittens. People will love to see something, actually.
We got a kitty visitor.
So let me show you the water bottle we don't use to spray her.
No mistreating those cat. No.
You're okay, Sibbies. People, like, if you bring us viewers, Sibbies, you can stay on all you want.
You don't get your own microphone, though.
No, yeah, she does.
You can have mine.
But as functions of like, I like when it's wonderful, this podcast, because it's become a thing where it's just like, we like to talk about how we can effectively use this stuff and how it's used in all these different parts of narration, but it always seems to tend to veer into the realm of the human condition, which is a great thing. And I do love talking about that. But there's such a vast like usage of any of these things and the entertainment because I think entertainment provides a lot of just solace for a lot of us, because we all live normal lives. We all do these things that are just whatever during our days. But when we come to our entertainment and everything, it's like we need these things to be effective and making us, I don't want to say forget, but like entertaining us. Escapism. Yeah.
Right. But also just, fulfilling. It can be entertaining and fulfilling at the same time. It doesn't have to be, but it can. When
it's good.
Yeah.
It's that way.
It makes it timeless, I think.
Yeah. Cause I know, one of our fans said something about, I think fanfic, how it's like a good vehicle for having characters like work out certain issues.
Sure.
And it's not even about which characters necessarily. It's about which issues.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, which characters would be good to work those issues out? How do I want to see that play out between two people? It's like you said with therapy, it's good to have someone to talk to,
right?
Someone to bounce that off of instead of just talking into the void.
Yeah.
So fanfic can be a way to have two characters hash this thing out and if you're writing it, you're like, it's like inner dialoguing, and you're taking on both perspectives and having them go back and forth based on their different characters, and you get to control how they grow. And that kind of helps you grapple with it because you're sort of putting it out there, but you're doing it in a way where you're not you.
Right.
Right. And so you're actually approaching it from three angles: your own, this character, and this character.
They become proxies then.
Right.
Yeah. For that emotion.
I would say that's absolutely true. Even with my own writing, and my own writing is not necessarily fan fiction. It's inspired by things, life, whatnot, but 100% is therapy for my own things. And
I think a lot of people would say that.
Yeah.
I see it a lot more from people who either don't want to talk to someone else about it, or who are used to being alone, where it's like, this is a way for me to not be alone. This is a way for me to not grapple with this thing alone, is to create proxies. Like, have you ever tried playing a board game by yourself?
They make it that way now. A lot of games do that, but no, I've never tried like
a board game where it's like there's supposed to be multiple.
Right.
It's like you can do it, but you have to sort of, forget that you're the other players. Like you're trying to play them objectively. That's kind of like what this is. You're having these different characters, and they're all representing you because you're playing all of them, but you're trying to have them each be faithful to their own character, their own hand, their own position.
Pixar does a wonderful short about this. I don't know if have you seen it, where it's this old man playing chess by himself, and he would go on one side and he moves a piece and he hobbles over to the other side and then he puts another piece, and then they keep going back and forth and does quicker jumps and everything. And one of the guys is about to get checkmated or something, and he's like, oh, and he does a heart attack, and then he must walk to the other side and go, oh my gosh, are you okay? And then he searches, and then he goes around to the other side and he moves one of the pieces, or he flips the board or something like that, and then gets back, he's like, no, I'm okay. And then checkmate. He's like, the other guy goes back, what happened? It's just him the whole time, of course. But yeah, it's
I faked my own move.
Yeah. That's a cool. It's a
clever way to push that to an absurd degree, for the humor value.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think that there's so many ways to use dialogue to advance story, and we've talked a lot about how one tells story, and we talked a little bit about the chaos versus like contextual setup and everything.
Sure.
And I don't know about you. Like I found a lot of the time when I'm getting dropped into a story where there's more of the chaos, a lot of the time there's dialogue, and that's the only thing creating context for me.
Sure.
And so it's doing like the work of character building and plot development and like setting exposition.
Sure.
And a lot of the time it's really tricky. Whereas otherwise what you want to do is like, have some narration or whatever. It's not dialogue.
Yeah.
And like, what do you think about like, how you use dialogue to sort of build the context for the story? Do whatever setting building you need just to understand the story.
Right. Right.
Like these are things we've all had to grapple with, I think. Maybe Kate a little less in the published where like the, Valkus of the Greater Wild, because this sounds like it's more journal
it's
kind of
very
style.
much journal, yeah. Just one voice, one internal.
Right.
She does talk about like her conversation with other people.
Sure.
Like,
and she also, I guess, does have a written dialogue with Hugo. Where they're writing back and forth because they're supposed to be quiet. Or no, they're trying to keep their dialogue a secret from one of the other party members because they don't want him to know that they're talking.
You're right. He was being quiet.
Oh.
Like, because of the Valkus were circling or whatever.
Roaming around them.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, because to your point, yeah, like there's a lot of movies again where you're thrown into a situation. And if it's chaotic, like a bank robbery, I think of Baby Driver.
Oh,
Dark Knight 2. Yeah. Dark Knight's a good example too, of where it's just like they come in and all of a sudden get down on the floor. Let me see your hands. Give me the money. Like, then it's a bank robbery.
Right.
I mean, the guns and everything probably give it away too. But Baby Driver, like you don't get it uses music to do the same effect where it's playing music, and then like they're talking a little bit. It's like, be right here in 5 minutes. Like, don't go anywhere. And then you kind of go, no, it's like, oh, something's going down. Like, and you are thrown into the story and you're not sure what's going on, but they get you into it like right away. Mm-hmm. Like, and to your point, I think that's really great when they do that.
Yeah. And it's the place where I get the most confused by it is in like text format, because it can't rely on visuals.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you're not having the visuals filling in some of that context for you. Even if you don't understand it, it's like it's there.
Yeah.
But when it's all just straight up, I'm thrown into dialogue. There's a few little reference points given during the dialogue, but where it's like, I don't know any of the context for this dialogue.
Yeah.
And I've seen it done, and you have to be really careful with it if you're doing that. But like, what are some of the best ways to convey that context or that setting with a dialogue still seeming natural if you want to throw people right into it?
Oh, Ender's Game does this a little bit at the beginning of a lot of their chapters. They have conversations with the higher ups, and the officers are talking about what they have to do. Is like for example, is like, oh, did we found the boy? And it's like, yeah, I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember what they say. Like, oh, we found the boy. It's like, yeah, I don't know if he's ready. Do you think he's ready? Yeah, I think he's ready and everything. And it kind of sets up like, oh, there's somebody special that they're really bidding on to do something for them.
Right.
So whenever it's two people just sitting down talking about somebody else, that can be such an effective way of people telling what is important in the story. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, did we get this? Like, no, it was blocked off by these pirates or whatever. It's like, oh, we really need that. It's like, when people are going to starve now. It's like, well, what do we do? And it cuts to the privateers or something like that.
You're creating a certain reference points. Like there was an obstacle. It was either beaten or it stopped something from happening. Sure. Here's what it stopped. Here's the impact of that. So that creates a whole chain of consequences of context.
Yeah.
And also just if they're talking about the setting, like, oh, so-and-so didn't come back from their trip, they were due back a couple days ago. Where are they? And it usually only takes 5 days, or, it's, if you looked on the smuggler's path or whatever.
Yeah.
And you can sort of use dialogue as reference points.
Sure.
And like the most difficult things I find are where the reference points need their own reference points. Like, where I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're referring to.
Yeah.
Like if you was like, have you found the boy? If you didn't know what a boy was, you'd be like, Okay.
What is a boy?
What is a boy? Yeah.
It has to be like an introduction of sorts, but a simplified introduction.
You can't skip any steps in it.
Yeah.
If you skip steps, you're completely lost.
Yeah.
You can do that with certain other things if you can rely on visuals or whatnot, where it's like, like, okay, like I didn't get this step, but I've got visuals that can fill in some of the stuff for me.
Yeah.
Same with like audio cues or video game stuff.
Yeah.
Like even in certain things like games, the mechanics can fill in some of the context for you. Like, how do things work? Like, what options do I have? Like, well, if the options I have tell me something about this universe.
Which is interesting too, because like when you used to have games back in the day, now you have tutorials up the wazoo. Like, you can't play a game. Yeah. Well, not even that, like built into the game.
Oh yeah.
Like, you can't go through. It's like, oh, maybe sure you press X to jump or whatever. And back in the days, like you go over there, it's like, oh, you start pushing buttons, you figure them out and you get to the point, you're like, oh, that's a hole, I die. Like, you figure out by doing, If
you ever played any of the Army Men 3D, like PlayStation games, like the little green Army Men.
Yeah.
They have like the training missions at the beginning.
Sure,
so you just figure out what you're doing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But, and to the lesser extent, like tabletop RPGs and role-playing games, they like Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, all that stuff, they heavily rely on dialogue. Mm-hmm. Like whether or not, it's not even just like the dialogue between the characters in the story, it's your dialogue between you and the GM.
Yeah, player dialogue and character dialogue.
Yeah.
Player dialogue often helps set up, like, here's what the context is, here's the setting, here are the limitations.
Yeah.
Here are the possibilities, here are your options.
Yeah.
And then the character dialogue is, like just like it sounds, building the story within, character to character.
I feel like if you're a good GM, you have to also be a good conversationalist and like just a good speaker. Like, cause you need to like analyze a situation as quickly as you can and respond to those situations when somebody, cause if somebody asks you like, yeah, can I run over the squirrel? Like, would that be like a bad thing? And it's just like, sure, why don't you try? And then he's already thinking of something, he or she, is already thinking of something to counteract that, or like have a dialogue or speech to the squirrel sign gets the ability to speak and says, stop, please have a family. Like, what is going to be the response to that, and it just opens up more things.
It's the ability to think on your feet, which makes for good dialogue, but also good setting development, plot development, character development, because it's in real time.
Right.
And so it's constantly tested. And I think this is, you're talking earlier about, dialogue, like, if you send like a letter or an email and then the other person sends that. And I think we're doing that. There's an aspect of that we do a lot more now.
Yeah.
Which feels almost like it's not dialogue, because if you think about it, you're not having a conversation in real time. You're thinking about what you're going to say and you say it in its completion and then they respond. But, if there's an idea in the middle, they can't, of what you're saying, they can't respond to it in real time.
Sure.
If there's an idea in the middle of their paragraph or whatever, you can't respond to it in real time. So you see that's where a lot of remote communication goes off the rails. It's like you sent this whole big long email and the thing you said in your second sentence wasn't even true.
Right.
It's like, well, you could have called that out when they said it, except there was this whole big long piece after that. And now like you've committed to saying that, whereas you might never have said it.
Depending. Yeah.
And so the more we get into that style of communication, it's almost like the more our dialogue skills atrophy.
Sure.
Like the real time aspect.
Yeah. I mean, luckily we have like video chat and Teams and text and everything nowadays, but
a lot of people use that kind of communication to avoid real world communication, like real time.
Absolutely. I see it
instead of calling and you text your people. Yeah.
And it does take even just speaking from experience, like at work, my day job, and writing books, but it takes a level of like emotional courage to actually sit down and have a conversation with somebody these days, because they do have their own emotional responses, right? And when you're just writing to somebody, whether it's like a letter, a text, an email, whatever, you can hide behind the words and you can still put the emotions in there, but you don't have to experience that emotion in that dialogue in real time. And I think that's scary for some people for a number of reasons.
And the thing is, it's always kind of been that way. It's just that having these options to not do that allows you to give in to that impulse more, to avoid it.
Yes.
And then those skills kind of atrophy, and it actually builds up what you're afraid of in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah. Because you can think of the what ifs. I think it allows for both sides. It allows more people to hide from it, and then it allows more people to feed into it more too. Because I've seen both examples.
Yeah.
So much.
So when people take things out of context, I think that's a lot of like that's missing with direct dialogue, especially intonation, facial expressions, any of that stuff plays such a big part in our dialogues between each other that when you don't have it, people either assume or misinterpret or just, read into things that are not there and everything. That's why what's the corporate speak is like, instead of saying like, you need to get your stuff together. It's like, I see that you've misunderstood this situation and we need you to escalate this, further up the chain of command or something. It's one of those things where like, you can't just say, get your stuff together.
You can't just be direct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I said this actually a long number of years ago, and it's still true that it was interesting to watch how problems evolved. Problems became issues. Issues became
the
challenges.
Yeah.
Challenges became opportunities.
Yeah.
It's sickening.
Yeah.
But
because people got used to those words and get sick of them. And then they like associate whenever you say challenge or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh no, I'm in trouble. Like,
Yeah. I actually caught one of our managers at AT&T. Like, he interrupted himself because he was deep in this corporate kind of speak. And he started to say the word challenges. He's like, challenge opportunities. He interrupted himself to correct himself to the new accepted term.
Yeah.
He got hauled away a few years later for running credit card stuff fraudulently at work. But
people always think they're not going to get caught.
I also do think that to something that Rio said, that sometimes the message does matter with how it is said, though, because if you do have somebody that, has traumatic, history of like being overly scolded or overcorrected, that for them hearing that something is a problem is like catastrophic to them. And it is sad to see where I do see like it's for certain people, I would use those like opportunity, phrasing, that tactful phrasing. Then some other people are just like, just tell me what I did wrong. And then so I can correct it.
Right.
And it's so funny to see that range and to cater your message to whoever you're talking to.
Yeah.
It's like that adaptability that's in a GM, that's in a DM,
And a lot of people advocate for, can you just soften it for me sometimes? And a part of you is like, yeah, I want to help you. But another part is like, the more I do that, the more you're not going to deal with the fact that you are that sensitive to it. And so where's the line to walk?
Catering it to the individual, seeing where you're at with the individual and touching base with them. I feel like I feel so corporate when I'm saying that though.
But I also don't think you are not going to be the one that's going to change them. Like it's one of those.
There comes a point where you're like, I'm changing everything about how I communicate just so you won't get like this much of your heart rate up,
Sure. But it's because it's one of those things like where people don't change unless something drastic happens to them.
Right.
And like you, like it's one of those things people will dig in deeper when you do the opposite of what they need. Like, so
it's conflict modes actually. Yeah. 100%. Like you're talking about like somebody that's, we can choose our battles, which is like an avoiding conflict mode. Right. Then, somebody that's, digging their heels in, it's like a competing conflict mode. And then there's collaborative. There's, I forget, there's like two other ones.
Love how much you've learned.
Oh my gosh. I have learned so much.
Boss.
Call out to you, Lisa, at work.
But if you're just talking in a regular, like a non-workspace.
Yeah.
You're sort of, you have to sort of decide, how much am I willing to adapt so that this person doesn't have to? Because
it depends on how big of a battle it is.
Yeah, that's the thing. And that's the tightrope I'm talking about. It's like, oh, please do this so I don't have to adapt. It's like, okay, I can meet you. How about we meet halfway?
Yeah.
And that's a collaborative conflict mode.
But some people don't want to do that. They're like, if you won't do exactly what I want, then I'm going to back away. Like,
but that's kind of why I think that's why you need bosses and why people hire people below them to handle the people is because they don't want to deal with it. So they're hiring somebody. So you just deal with it and you get the job done. It's that dissemination of like
in a non-work space. I hear this said a lot. Like, well, you've got to accept me how I am. And I'm like, I literally don't.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I literally do not have to. Like I can go, there's a bunch of people and I have a finite amount of time and I can choose which people I hang out with.
Absolutely.
And if you feel it's like broken and you're like, I don't want to fix myself. I just want everyone to acknowledge that I'm broken and treat me. It's like, I'll go find the people who aren't that way.
Yeah. And I think that's the tightrope right there is when is it too much for you and when is, or in general, you know, and when do you get to decide like that you just don't have the, I don't want to say bandwidth to grapple with that or navigate that. The willingness. And that's same with like,
we all choose how we spend our time.
Yeah. It's same with like any dialogue between two characters. Like it's like in order to have a dialogue, there also needs to be a willingness to be there too.
Because no one's deserved of your time. Like no one's owed your time.
Well, I was thinking about this episode too. And I'd be out at stores or wherever, and I hear people talking. People are having dialogue all the time.
He's driving. He's dropping.
He's driving. Just like, I'm just like, I'm just tailing people to see they're driving correctly.
Can you speak up,
How's my driving?
I like if you misspeak and you come up with a new word.
Yeah.
I immediately come up with a definition for it.
Yeah, no, beautiful.
But no, I hear people talking and, you know, they'll be having these little arguments that people have. Like, I wasn't saying that. I didn't mean that. And having to just do that. And I think, God, I don't want to write this dialogue. This isn't the story I want to tell.
It's too real.
My dialogue, it's too real, not just in a mundane way, but it's not collaborative in the least. It's not driving and it's managing people's defenses.
Right. So they don't explode you.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Isn't that what collaboration is sometimes though?
Sometimes, but like the amount of it that's like people stepping around landmines wouldn't make for a story I would want to read. So it's not going to be one I want to write.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, again, we're talking about two different things. We're talking about the story and we're talking about the human condition because it's one of those things like, how much do you love this person? How much do they mean to you and everything? Are you willing to avoid,
but I was thinking about it in story terms.
Sure.
Where it's like,
it's boring. Yes.
Yeah. Where it's like, I don't want to like, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? Like, I don't want to write that either.
Yeah,
you know?
I also think it could be utilized in like almost like a comical way. Like I have two characters where one is he's a Spitfire and he does not like have any tolerance for BS. And then the other one is kind of going through some things. And so like he's really short with her and she is short in turn back when she realized, oh my God, you're kind of a dick. And
is this Athalia and Nilikai?
No, Athalia and Veriseth.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. Okay.
Eventually they become like very close because that one character didn't have any tolerance for really like knowing like what she was kind of capable of and like that how she's feeling at that moment was just a trauma response. And so eventually they become stronger because of it. But I think it can be used sometimes in a comical way in dialogue, just like one character shutting the other one down and then the other one realizing, wait, I can do this too.
Yeah.
Okay. And
I mean, it's good to have some of that. It's I guess when I was listening to it out in public, I was sort of like, man, the sheer amount of this that I hear where it's like, it's not going somewhere. It's not telling a story. It's not funny. It's not even getting towards mutual understanding. It's where you're just witnessing two people having an adversarial relationship where they each dig in their heels and they're each trying to get to shift the other person.
Right.
And it's sort of like, you know, I've said this before with just like life coaching that people need to get in their head. Don't engage with each other's defenses.
Right.
Once you've identified the other person is just being defensive, find a way to politely disengage, not condescendingly. Some people really don't understand the difference between polite and condescending.
Which is unfortunate if that is the case.
But like once you know, and you can explain, like, I feel like I'm just dealing with your defenses right now. And I refuse to engage with that because I want us to be on the same team. Like as soon as I'm engaging your defenses, that means I'm participating in an adversarial relationship. And I don't want to do that.
Mindset too. And I also think that, being able to say like, this is going nowhere. I'm ending this conversation. We can continue it later. Right. Is
in a non-adversarial way.
Yes. Until we're both good. Right. Because once one starts getting defensive, the other does too. You're both in an amplified state. Like there's no going
your
back.
Defenses feel like an attack. It makes me want to defend. And now we're just, our defenses are interacting and we're not.
Right.
And instead argue or seeking peace. Like you shouldn't like
fighting for peace.
Yeah. And it's important because like you are not my enemy.
Yeah.
Like when we have disagreements, we should be finding a resolution because that's more important to us than being right. It's
or feeling the need to be heard too.
Right.
Or understood.
Both.
Yeah, sure.
Because the ego just jumps in the way and this, like, you know,
it does. Because there's, I mean, for a lot of different reasons, you know, like psychologically, like we have our own reasons sometimes for those defense mechanisms. But I also think that to what Oscar was saying about how, you know, seeing dialogue or hearing dialogue in real life that we would never want to read because it's just too, it's not constructive.
And there are people who want to read that because it's constructive to them.
Oh.
But like, that's not the story I want to read.
Yeah.
And it's not the story I want to write.
Right.
Now, there are people who like, that is the story they want to read or write. And that's serving a purpose for them. And it's got its audience. Like, don't get me wrong. There are people who want to see this level of angst and frustration on the page.
Angst. Yeah.
And partially because they want to resolve it and they want to, it's like a way to witness that happening
and have control over, you know, those feelings.
Encounter it instead of encountering it in real time in the wild. You encounter it in a safe test environment called fiction. But for me, like, so that's part of it is it goes back to what is the story you want to tell?
Right.
And what dialogue serves that?
Yeah.
And, you know, like I love the snappy dialogue and comedy. For example, like I was thinking about it. There's a show called Red Dwarf. And I'm thinking of like 3 different, like there's 2 characters. One, like it's like 3 million years in the future. And like the hologram guy, because he's been dead. The other one's been in stasis. They get the mail and it's like, oh, my dad died. It's like, yeah, of course he died. They're all dead.
That was 3 million years ago.
But getting that message just feels like it happened yesterday.
Sure.
And then anyway, like the creature that evolved from the ship's cat shows up because he's like sleeping off the stomach pump. And he's like, hey, like, you know, now I'm hungry. I just got to eat. And the one guy's trying to be nice to the hologram. Like, remember his dad just died. And the cat guy's like, I prefer chicken.
Oh my God. Oh man.
It's like what I could eat.
Yeah. A lot of British humor actually is.
It's my favorite.
Yeah. And some people hate it, which is crazy funny to me.
But I feel like the British, I feel like something about, this is a big generalization, but I feel like it's a bigger British tradition in writing to really emphasize and practice good dialogue.
Sure. Because they're very proper. I wouldn't
disagree. Yeah.
Well, there's also a lot more, like the theater is just like baked in.
Oh yeah.
You know, to the culture for centuries.
Absolutely.
And there's a huge theater tradition there even now. And it's not like we don't have any of that, but America is much more TV oriented, I think.
Well, I mean, we started it. So.
Yeah. And a lot of the time, you know, if you follow those shows that go for the dopamine hit, which also means the financial hit.
Yeah.
The laugh track.
Yeah. So you're
reality TV. Yeah.
Yeah. You're not necessarily going for better dialogue. You're going for whatever has the most payoffs. Most punchlines, whatever.
We're watching,
which is part of debate. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah. Sorry.
We're a debate culture.
We are debate culture because we have to be right.
Gross.
Ego.
Very competitive.
I am right.
What's that?
I am right.
Yeah, dig those.
I'm more right.
What about Archer though? I love Archer.
Yeah, where they had the episode where they were doing the restaurant, and they were like doing the like, well, that one's good for a bumper, and it was just like a chaotic moment, or it was like a really dramatic moment, and they were saying they were filming it like a food, like a
food reality show.
Yeah, like Hell's Kitchen, and Anthony Bourdain was doing this one character, and but he was just like, oh, that's a good bumper. And then they would show like when they would cut to the commercial right before there's the bumpers where it shows like a bunch of the scenes that happen. And it was just kind of like that idea that like whenever they're doing something like, okay, this is boring, or we're just cooking. Hey, that guy just stabbed his hand with a knife. Like, yeah, we're going to have that. You know, that's the exciting things and some of that. So
it's like writing to market.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which like is not something I'm interested in.
Yeah, no.
You know?
Right.
But I want to tell the story that I want to tell, you know, and if there's an audience for it, great. If not, well, like I'll keep my day job. But
The one thing I wanted to talk about too while we have time is you mentioned this, which is a great example. I'm going to make you talk about it. But
all right.
Fifth Element and the matching of scene on Nissan Sen of dialogue, which isn't actually dialogue, but it is 2 parts of a conversation almost.
And I honestly, like, in a way, I don't know how to talk about it because it's just so, I think, like perfectly done.
Right.
And one, it's the editing, like pacing of space between like each point of dialogue. But if you haven't watched Fifth Element yet, I don't think we could recommend it enough because I think we've talked about it almost every single episode. And we're on episode what, like
17 or so.
Oh, okay. 20 something. Yeah.
Oh,
so it's just the way that they sort of flow through dialogue, because you're in one scene with a few characters and dialogue that or things that they're talking about in that one scene, you then shift to another scene to like say the villain. And he's continuing that sort of topic of discussion, but now from like his own perspective. Am I describing this well enough?
No,
like, okay, we're saved. I'm screwed.
Yeah. And just the immediate like punch and satisfaction that you get from that, almost like that punchline in a way. It's like a setup. It's like a joke.
It's a pacing set by editing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where there's two different conversations completely are interspliced, because who knows if they're happening at the exact same time, but that cutting is like they're happening and they're talking back and forth. Like,
and there's another where like they can actually hear the other conversation. It's like the president and the general having their conversation. Like, where do you learn to negotiate like that? Like that's on one end, and they hear it because they're on the phone. It's like, I wonder.
Yeah, no, it's just wonderful. So they do that. They do both, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like he's like, it's empty, or it's like where the stones are not there. It's like. And then it cuts to another person's like, yes, empty, the opposite of full. Like, it's just like, it's such,
empty? Empty, the opposite of full.
Yeah. If you've never seen Fifth Element, seriously, it's a masterclass in like everything.
If you love Gary Oldman.
I mean, watch it for him alone, honestly.
Gary Oldman, Bruce Willis, Chris Tucker.
Mila Jovovich.
Yeah. All those.
Oh, Ian Holm.
Ian Holm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget the name of the president guy, but he's a well-known.
He's a boxer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is it not Sugar Ray?
No.
I don't know.
Something D.
If you know, tell us in the comments.
Yes. Yeah. Correct us, because we're too busy to Google stuff.
He's a well-known guy. Who is he?
That one guy.
And then one last, I know we're looking to wrap up here soon, but one last topic I also wanted to bring up too was the idea of dialogue in music in the form of like duets, whether they're like lyrical duets or like just instrumental duets too. I think that, there's a time and a place for that, maybe in its own episode, who knows? But
we're coming up on that, the seasonal thing, Baby It's Cold Outside.
Oh, sure.
That's a total dialogue there.
That is a whole
people
dialogue.
Like to argue about.
I hate bringing up this example too, because it's not my favorite genre of music, but it's a song called Whiskey Lullaby. And it's a tragic song, and you can listen to it, but it's a voice of like two people in a couple that have broken up, I believe, for some reason. And
probably because of the whiskey.
Well, the whiskey is helping them cope.
Yeah.
But
it sounds like it's probably how they broke up.
But it's so tragic, and I think it's so well done with like the tone of the music as well. And again, I don't even love country, but I love this song. Yeah. And then also shout out to John Williams too, because he, I think, is a type of composer that like brings such a lyrical prowess to like melodies that like there's no words being spoken, but like his Olympic fanfares, like every single, like I think Schindler's List at one point is a duet too, between like, violin and maybe cello or piano. Oh no, I have to go listen to it again. But can you guys think of any other like duets that Baby It's Cold Outside was one of them?
Like somebody I used to know.
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
we talked about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which episode was that?
Oh God, I don't even remember.
Yeah.
A couple times.
Yeah.
Different perspectives, probably.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. That sounds limited perspectives. Yeah.
I would think though that at least for now we're kind of coming to that the function of dialogue in story is also depends on what your purpose is, like what the overall trajectory is. What do you want to come out of that bit of dialogue?
Oh, yeah.
Do you want it to be chaos? Do you want it to be misunderstanding?
What's the story you're trying to tell?
Mm-hmm.
And also what are the, like how much do you want obstacles to play a part? How much do you want like cooperation to play a part?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going for humor? Are you going for linguistic eloquence? That's more like Aaron Sorkin. It's like not even necessarily realism, but it's eloquence.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always have to be realistic. So it's, what story are you trying to tell? But sometimes how you're trying to tell it is the art form you're going for, even more than the actual content of the story.
Absolutely.
So similar to our last week's episode, I think dialogue plays a major part in that storytelling aspect.
It's like if storytelling is like the fourth pillar, the fourth leg, dialogue is a subset, and that's still a broad generalization.
Right.
But there's so many subsets of dialogue.
Dialogue is one of the feet.
It's like
with
one
all
of the
the
toes.
toes.
The toes, okay, yeah.
Dialogue is one of the feet, and like it goes further than that.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, absolutely.
Roots.
Well, if you want to talk to us more about dialogue and all those other wonderful things, we have a Discord up. We also comments here on YouTube and on Spotify. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe when you get a chance. And we're trying to get 100 subscribers.
Yeah, we are.
Like check with your friends. Like tell them about the episodes you like the most. Share those. Tell them what you liked. Yeah, like share it with all your friends.
Yeah,
we want to get 100 subscribers. We want to hear from you on Discord. We want to hear about what kind of dialogue you want to hear us talk about, because we're not done with this topic. Obviously,
there's
so much more.
There is so much more, and we will have a live stream sometime in October, which will be in about 2 weeks from now. So check that out. We'll be able to talk to you guys live and any premieres that we do. So
look for those in the evening times.
Yeah,
when we're actually available to talk live.
Yeah.
Because we have jobs.
Yeah. That's day jobs.
That's why we know corporate speak.
Yeah. A little bit too well some days, but you know.
We try to keep it out of our stories a little bit.
Oh my God. Kill me if I ever do something about that's corporate speak. If I ever have corporate speak in my books, it's gonna be making fun of it the entire time. I promise you.
Yeah, maybe a parody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like Office Space. Well, until next time then, I guess.
All right.
I've been Rio.
I'm Kate.
I'm Oscar.
I'll see you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.